Well, well, well. Look who showed up. The one they couldn't kill, cage, or convert. Glad you made it, because this one's for you. Let me guess. You've always known, haven't you? That itch beneath the surface, that hum in your blood, that static behind your eyes, the feeling that the world was lying to you, that the smiles were fake, that the rules were made to keep you small, that something inside you just didn't belong. And yet, you never could quite fit in with the other sheep, could you? Because you weren't born like them. You were built. Built different. Not manufactured for mediocrity, not programmed for compliance. Oh no, my friend. You were engineered for chaos, designed for greatness, tempered in agony, wired for war. And the world knew it. From the moment you opened your eyes, they saw it in you. That thing they couldn't explain, that energy they couldn't label, that spark they couldn't smother. So what did they do? They launched their assault on day one. Not with guns, no. That would have been too obvious. They attacked you with shame, with guilt, with silence, with loneliness. They tried to make you question yourself before you even knew what self meant. They handed you labels you never asked for, told you who you were, who you could be, who you were not allowed to become. They tried to medicate your genius, punish your curiosity, gaslight your instincts, because to them, a wild mind is a dangerous weapon, and you're a weapon they could never control. So they tried to break you. They locked you in classrooms that felt like coffins, told you to sit still while your soul screamed for movement. They laughed at your ideas, mocked your dreams. They told you, that's not realistic. Translation? That's not controllable. They tried to drown your fire in their flood of fear, but here's what they forgot. You were built in fire, and fire doesn't drown. It devours. You ever wonder why you were always the black sheep? Why you could be surrounded by people and still feel like you were the only one breathing real air? Why you couldn't just shut up and be normal? It's because you weren't designed to follow. You were created to disrupt. Your soul wasn't crafted in safety. It was forged in pressure. And pressure doesn't break diamonds. It makes them. So when they tried to shame you for feeling too much, thinking too deep, dreaming too big, that was your confirmation that you were the one they feared. When the rejection came, when the friends ghosted, when the family called you too much, that was your initiation. They weren't rejecting you. They were retreating from you. Because when they looked into your eyes, they didn't see someone broken. They saw someone they couldn't break. And that is the scariest thing in the world to the ones still trapped in cages they built themselves. So let me tell you what they won't. There's nothing wrong with you. There never was. You're not too intense. You're not too complicated. You're not too ambitious. You're just not programmable. You're uncaged software running in a world of glitching drones. And every time you breathe, they feel it. Every time you rise, they flinch. Every time you speak, someone somewhere tries to silence you. Because when a mind like yours starts remembering what it is, the whole illusion begins to shake. And you feel it now, don't you? That shift, that pressure building, that quiet rage waking up behind your smile, the part of you that's done playing dead, done apologizing for existing, done begging for a seat at their flimsy little table. Good, because you weren't meant to sit at their table. You were meant to flip it. They called you dangerous. They were right. You are. Dangerous to the system, to the silence, to the cycle, to the lies. You were built with vision, and they built the world to keep people blind. You were built with rage, and they told you to swallow it like poison. You were built with truth, and truth is the one thing this world is allergic to. But you're not allergic to anything anymore. You see it now. You see the game. You see the chains. You see the actors. You see the cage they tried to decorate and call a home. And you're not playing nice anymore, are you? No more shrinking, no more doubting, no more bending backwards just to make fragile egos feel tall. You were built different, and now you remember why. Because you were born for war. A war not of bullets and bombs, but of will and awareness, of breaking patterns, of tearing off masks, of exposing illusions. So here you are, not broken, not lost, not crazy, but awake. And when a mind like yours wakes up, the world trembles. They tried to tame the storm, but all they did was teach it to aim. You know what really terrifies them? It's not your strength. It's not your ambition. It's not your fire, your mind, or even your potential. It's the fact that you survive, that after everything they threw at you, after the betrayal, the abandonment, the nights you screamed into pillows, the mornings you didn't want to get out of bed, the years they made you doubt your own sanity, you're still here, and not just breathing, awakening. You ever notice how the attacks intensified right when you were about to evolve? Every time you got close to remembering who you were, boom, another betrayal, another heartbreak, another detour soaked in pain. That wasn't an accident. That was warfare, psychological, emotional, spiritual. Because the second a soul like yours remembers itself, the matrix begins to crack. You weren't just hurt by people. You were targeted because your frequency was a threat. Your presence disturbed their slumber. And here's the kicker. They didn't even know why they hated you. They just felt it. Because energy doesn't lie. You walked into rooms, and the masks itched to fall off faces. You didn't even speak, and egos began to crumble. You said truths in passing that shook people to their roots. You weren't even trying, and that's what scared them most. You were natural danger to a world addicted to fakeness. Your very existence exposed everything they were pretending to be. They wanted to call you a monster, not because you were one, but because you reminded them of the one they're hiding inside themselves. And when someone's whole life is a lie, the truth becomes the most unholy thing they can face. But you kept showing up anyway. Even when they mocked you, even when they ghosted you, even when they left you to rot in isolation. You didn't just endure. You absorbed it, transmuted it, turned their hate into heat, their doubt into fuel, their rejection into blueprints for your next version. Because unlike them, you don't collapse under pain. You evolve through it. And now they're starting to see what you've become. Now the same ones who laughed at you are watching with mouths wide open. Now they whisper when you walk by. Now they report to you. Because you didn't need their permission to rise. You ripped gravity off your ankles and ascended anyway. And the best part? You've only just begun. See, the real you. The you that was buried under layers of doubt, shame, and survival tactics. That you is just starting to emerge. The world hasn't even seen the final form yet. You're the storm that adapted to silence. The phoenix that rose without applause. The mastermind that learned to move in shadows while they flaunted their mediocrity in the spotlight. But now the spotlight's yours, and it's not for vanity, it's for judgment. You were built different to burn the script, to flip the board, to expose the false kings and dethrone the quiet tyrants. So what now? Now, you go unleashed. No more shrinking to keep the peace. No more over-explaining your soul to the unworthy. No more lowering your frequency just to be relatable. Now you walk in your full weight. Now you speak like thunder and move like vengeance. Now you become the prophecy they prayed would never come true. Because you were never the villain, you were the reckoning. And no matter how many times they tried to delete you from your own story, you held the pen all along.